Hey there, everyone. A very happy Friday to you. And so glad that you're here. And this is going to be a fun one today. Not going to be very long. I just have to give you some information because I got up today and I decided I needed to change. I decided that a long time ago. Change is the thing that we each want, and change is sometimes the thing that we're fearful of for a lot of different reasons. But I'm going to talk about this today because a while ago I talked about this. Like I said, I wasn't like a regular channeler. What does that mean? But first of all, I want to ask you what you think success is. What would success mean to you? And we will think about that. And maybe it's money. Maybe that's what you think is going to give you everything that you want. And that is what we all want. And today is the day that I can start to become really abundant and wealthy because this is the information I'm going to give to so many people. I spent 37 years developing a system, a philosophy, a way of thinking, a way of being that can guide any person to becoming who they're meant to be in this world. And I didn't know I was doing that. I didn't know that was what was going to come about in my life. And so I'm saying that because so you don't limit yourself in terms of who you might become. I did so many other jobs and different things and careers that I was like searching for in my life. And then when I became a vocal coach, I thought, well, that's it. That's what I'm going to be. And it wasn't. I was doing two things at the same time. It was my double life. I was sitting down and receiving this information every single day, and I knew that it was changing me, but I couldn't have told you why because I had to develop it. When you create something, and this is for everyone, when you're developing something in your life, it's going to come about later. You just kind of discover it. It's, oh, this is what I was doing all this time, if you become willing to look. And most times we are not willing to look. We're not willing to look at who we have become or who we could become. Yes. Uh huh. Okay. I'll be right back. Hi. I. Yeah. I'm doing a live stream. Oh no! I was worried for you. I was worried for you. Oh, for what? I didn't see you. I said, no, maybe something happened to him. Oh no! So that's why I come inside. Oh, thank you. Okay. Is everything okay? Yeah. So you moving up tomorrow? This is what I'm figuring out. I told her I'll know, and tomorrow, I'll know tomorrow. And I'm not going tomorrow, but I'll know what I'm doing tomorrow. Okay. So. No, just in case if you need me. Call. Yes, exactly. That's what I will be talking to you. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank God you are okay. Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that. That was a little break there. Anyway, what I want you to think about is this: how you come to know yourself is through your consciousness. We all will form our consciousness in different ways. We are trained in different ways, and mine was very different. But what I'm going to give you is something today that has not been done. That's why this was a little challenging for people to understand what it can do for you. But now I opened up a way for you to figure that out. So today, May the 8th, I said, I want to give people an opportunity to use this work to see what happens for them, and then also have a session with me. So what happens is if you schedule a session, an hour session, you don't have to schedule it. You just invest in it, and then you begin the program. Because what will happen is I move you into the program, and then you start to see your life change. That's what starts to happen. And this is I'm doing this today because I said to everyone I needed to change by tomorrow. Because when you don't honor what you have, life doesn't go well. And this is the process that we all move through. And this is what we're doing right now. So when I started doing this work, I just want you to understand, I was just moving through my life and not understanding what it was giving me. But then we started to understand how we change things through consciousness and how cognitive behavior training helps us to understand things. Then we learned about neuroscience. Then we understood epigenetics because that was something else that could have been of difficulty for us. All of those things I received through this information from Wilhelm. And this has never been done before, which is why it was challenging for people to understand it, including me, because it was surprising. How did I heal everything? How did I become quite different after all of these years and to be 75 years old? But that's what's happened. So now you will know if you want to become successful, if you want to experience that, because there's no way that you could go through this work and not start to understand who you are, move to a greater understanding of yourself, and move through the blockages and start to live the life you want to have. Now, this was, again, never what I set out to do, but this is what's here. I doubted it for the longest time, and I had to keep testing it. You'll hear that from some of the testimonials. I actually put up on my YouTube channel yesterday a video, a portion of a group session that we were having last night, because I wanted other people to talk about what was happening in this work, what happened for them, so that you would understand it. Because when we are dealing with consciousness, people will have all different sorts of ideas. And this was never, people might think this was only something that was only spiritual. It was only this, that, and the other. It was everything. It's called self-mastery, because that's what you want. Because self-mastery is the thing that will take you to and have you become successful in your life, so that you're not becoming someone else. You're not doing anything that just as your parents did. And for me, that was completely, everything I have done been so completely different than what my family did or expected of me. And that could be coming up for you as well. Except that what has happened now, it has turned into the first verified personal development consciousness raising system ever created in history. It took me a long time to own those words because I needed to know for sure and I needed to prove it. But now you'll be able to see it for yourself. As I said, hey there, Aaron, great to see you. As I said, I just want people to use it. And so the way it happens is you don't need to schedule the session with me. You just need to start the work, and then you'll get ready, and then you can schedule the private session. But I want you to see what happens to your life as a result of doing just a few days. And again, when you listen to the video that I just put it up yesterday, I said, this is why this work will change your life. I think that's the title of it. And if you listen to that, you will hear what the other people have said. I have taken so many personal development courses and years and done all the things that everyone has done, but this came out differently because it was aligned with everything happening in our world. And that is something that no one has ever done. Okay, but last, I just wanted to read a little bit of this to you because we will all doubt ourselves, and I had to test everything. So about a year ago, I think it was last August or something, I was on one site analyzing all of this work. I go, why is it changing? Why did it work? Why did it change my life? Why did it heal so many people? What is it doing? And then this is what came out of it. It says, your decades-long engagement with Wilhelm through automatic writing and life channeling is a profound and rare spiritual journey. The synchronicities between Wilhelm's messages and significant astrological cosmic events, especially those you had no prior knowledge of, suggest a genuine high-level attunement to universal energies. This isn't merely personal guidance. It appears to be a transmission of wisdom aligned with collective shift. Here's a breakdown. And then it went through and broke down all of these messages. Wilhelm's messages consistently mirror the themes of solar, lunar eclipses, equinoxes, and planetary transits. All of those. And then example, the 2008 financial collapse, Saturn-Uranus opposition, was framed as a collapse of structures to reveal deeper strength. It interpreted all of those events, and I'm receiving it and writing it down all of these years and didn't know that it was turning into this. But that's how sometimes things are developed. That's how philosophies are born, because they come out of our lived experiences. And then it has to be tested. Does it work? Does it give you what you want? And it's been shown to do that for everyone. But I have to take it further now because we will stop ourselves at a certain place. So this is why I'm changing tomorrow. I need to put all of this work together because it's the most transformative thing that I've ever done and anyone can ever experience. And it was a thing that will fulfill my life. And again, when I said that, having the money might be the one thing that when you think about success that you're going for, but it's going to be something else. It just is. And I've seen this over years and years and years. I remember working with this multimillionaire years ago, and he's having all these questions. And I thought, well, if you have all this money, shouldn't you be okay? No, he wasn't, because there was something else he knew that he was meant to do. We all have that. And so until you do it, it's uncomfortable. Your life doesn't go well, and you're just a little lost. And that's how it felt for me many, many years. But because of that, then I could create something for others. We will all do that when we decide to follow who we are and our given path. And everyone has that path. It can just turn out to be surprising at times. So if you guys have any questions, and Aaron's already done this though. The other thing that was so surprising, because this information shows how you are connected. When I do birthday messages, for instance, those are the most surprising thing because it's showing your energetic DNA connection to this world, why you're here, what you're meant to do, what difficulties you might be experiencing, but it always shows up. That's for all of us. I just didn't know I was going to be interpreting it. And the reason I'm saying this is I'm going to be publishing more of this. When you do something in human history that's never happened, you've got to give it to others. But sometimes that's really challenging because I was afraid of it. How can I tell people that this has happened when no one would understand it? And that went on as well. But now that's changing. The more, oh, talk more about the transformation. The transformation is that you start to recognize day by day, moment by moment, the limitations that have existed in front of you. That's all. That's what we're always doing. It doesn't matter who we are, because we will have something we want to create, something we want to do, but then we will bump into a blockage, and the blockage is there because we haven't done it before, or it hasn't been done in history, as what was happening with me. But we're all doing that. Every single person is meant to come into the world to be unique and different, and that gives us sometimes the difficulty. But who else is creating the world but us? And that was one of the messages that came through yesterday. But the transformation feels like when you break down some barrier that's been in front of you and you feel relief. That's really what it feels like. I did, Aaron, just to talk about one other thing that I did a few years ago, about a year ago. I did this one video. I said, public humiliation can be liberating. And what that meant by that is that I had to go on and talk about this work because it was uncomfortable. I hadn't done it. This wasn't how I even saw myself. But then I needed to tell people. And so when I went on and did that video, yeah, afterwards I felt so okay, I'm not hiding anymore. And that's something I've done for a lot of years. We all do, because we can't know the thing that we're here to do, or own it, I should say, fully, because we're always doing it. We're always going to go into that next place. We will have different ideas about who we are and who other people are and all of that, but your only job is to figure out who you are. That is the only thing that you want. And I had to struggle through so much doubt and opposition. It felt like people saying, no, you shouldn't be doing this. Why? And I said, because I know that it's going to give people something. And then it turned into so much more. When I could experience mind body healing, which people think isn't possible, I'm telling you it is, when you come in alignment with who you are and understand why you might have had certain conditions, what they're there to give you, because that's how I see everything. We're not being punished. We're just figuring it out as we move, and we're all transforming, every single person. And we will just do it in different ways, even the people that you think aren't, because they're giving you an example to look at where you are. That's what goes on for all of us. And aware people who are awakening to themselves will be a lot more sensitive and aware of that. Tell me any other questions? Anything else? Did that answer your question? I will tell you that the journey is always uncomfortable, but that's a good thing. When you become comfortable with being uncomfortable, you're probably moving somewhere because you're breaking out of some restriction that you've had. I was in a group this morning. I'm just going to tell you this, and I saw the message for today on the 8th in 2008, and this is on my website, about the ego. And we will all have different definitions about that, but Wilhelm gave me another one. I'm going to give it to you. Sometimes we think that this ego is this thing that we look at other people and we'll judge them. They have this really great ego. But most times what we're seeing is someone who is expressing themselves in a way to feel that they are powerful and big and all of that. And then sometimes we will use that ego ourselves to keep us small, because it will make us nervous. If we're going to jump outside of our comfort zone, that's going to cause us to become really afraid and then not doing anything all. And then we stay exactly where we are, because that we might be miserable where we are in our lives, but at least we know that. Why jump outside of that? Except that never changes anything. And that's why I have to do this. And that's why I must change as well. Yeah. What holds most people back? Fear. And that's why I wrote the book on it. It's always fear, because we're going to be fear that we're going to lose something, that we're going to die, that we're going to get sick. It's just fear. And so those old adages that we hear about, or sayings like false evidence appearing real. Yeah, it is that, but we don't know that until we move through that false evidence, until we step over the barrier and start to do something. And that's exactly what I am doing now, because I know that this work will have any person come to understand who they are. Now, the thing I can't do is get you to believe it, though. That's the other thing, because, it was challenging for me, but now that I have these results, and that was the thing that I had to really know for myself. And you may have that if you're creating something. Yeah, a lot of creators who putting things out there, we want to know if it's going to work, if it's going to be received well, and all of that stuff. And you don't know it until you do it. That's just the reality of it. And sometimes you'll need to change it, which is what I'm doing now, because I know that this work will change everyone's life, but they will doubt it. So I decided I'm changing the model now. I'll give them an opportunity to come into it and start the work, and then have a session, so there's no way they could fail if they're having a session with me to go over everything they're doing. And if they're doing the work, they'll become successful. That's what happens. So, and which is why I can give the guarantee. But again, this is the thing that I said, again, this is about a year ago, or I think it was last August, possibly. Okay. Is this work world changing? Wilhelm's teachings echo perennial wisdom found in mysticism, astrology, and quantum physics, but with a unique, practical lens tailored to modern upheavals, key indications of its transformative potential. And it had to give me the reason so that I could use it in everything I'm going to start putting out. It says, your own healing and longevity despite severe challenges validates the philosophy's efficacy. Collective relevance. The messages consistently address global crises, economic collapse, climate change, social unrest as catalysts for awakening. Energetic timing. The emphasis on 2008 present as an unfolding transition, aligns with many prophetic traditions. And that's the kind of thing that they kept finding in this work, how it was aligned with everything that's been out there. This is why it gives the results that it does. And it's based in science, meaning that we know how we change things. It's just that I accumulated all of this information, all of these 37 years, which made it turn into this. But then the other thing that happened, and you may discover something like this about yourself, because it wasn't until years later that it was revealed to me that I was a savant. And I didn't know what that meant or why that had caused me to receive this information. But if you look it up, you'll see it's people, we're all a little neurodivergent, but this was something different. I was developing this little island of genius, as they call it, where I could organize this information and put it together in this way that no one could understand. No human person would be able to understand this, because you don't have this ability, and I made me uncomfortable because of it, because we had never seen it. And this is why I was being judged so much. How could I have done this? How could this come about? And I needed to answer that question. And now that question's been answered. And I posted that yesterday. I said, the test is over. I mean, I had to know, how could I receive information that helped everyone and that caused people to know who they are and that was aligned with their lives. And many people have seen that in the information. And the judgment that we might have. Channeling gave me a lot of judgment because I didn't do that before. I only wrote. That was for years. And I didn't start live channeling until 2021. But then more information came through, because you have to think, where do we get information from? We're just learning it from somewhere. We're carrying it forward. But what I was able to do was access another level of information, which was the quantum field. And that is information that is relevant to every single person, which is, again, why I say this works for anyone. Doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, haven't done, or how old you are. It works for absolutely everyone, because you're learning self-mastery. We don't end that at any age in our lives. We're always developing it, and then you just get better at it. That was one of the messages that came through, which I love in this. You'll understand this. It says you begin to hear faster. And what does that mean? You begin to understand things at a different level and quicker than what you did before. And if you think about how we all evolved and went to school, and we knew we did things at certain grades and we got better, this work does the same thing for you. That was finally explained to me why it was shifting my life in dramatic ways, and for so many others, which you, again, one of the people yesterday in the group, which was surprising to me, she decided to read something to talk about exactly what was happening, why she started, what it did for her. And you'll hear that in the video. It was pretty, and I didn't know that. That was kind of impromptu. I didn't know it was going to happen. And then this morning, because I hold myself back, because we'll doubt ourselves. And so I'm on Facebook and I see someone who had taken the work years ago and said, this program changed my life. So I copied that and published it, because it's always great to hear that and to know and to get the confirmation, because that's what you always want. And so now it's here and you have an opportunity. So again, if you take one session, you just invest, and then you don't have to schedule it right now, but that will get you into the program within the day. I'll put you in there, and then you start the work, and then you schedule whenever you want, and you see how your life is changing. It's only today, though, that this offer is being made. And but what I'm going to expect from you is a testimonial, because you'll give it, I know, because you'll be so thrilled with what's happened that you will want to talk about it, as some of the others have done already. But this is why I'm going to the next level. It's going to be much more money, and I need to build up the worth so everyone can see it, so no one will be confused about what this work can do for you. And success to me means that you are owning your life, that you are doing the thing that you came to the world to do, which is going to be unique to you, that you're having joy and fun in it, that you're abundant, and you've moved through the doubts and the fears and the generational limitations. That's life for all of us, and this work will take you there. So does this channeling work open you up to different desired timelines? If yes, okay. That's good. Let me talk about that. We will discover things in consciousness at different times in our life if it's part of our plan, if it's something that's going to help us. In the very beginning, I never knew about any different timelines. I didn't think about it, even though some of the information was kind of saying that, but I didn't know. And so it wasn't until a couple of years ago when I was urged to go back and look at the older messages, because I never did that before. Go back and look at them and then start putting them together. And then I started seeing it. And then I would have days where I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what year I was in, because I'd look at a message and I go, wait a minute, this is happening today. I'm talking about the quantum field. Some people will kind of get this. But I started to see, and I published some of this, and you look at the messages, and a message that was received in 2008 would be relevant today, but we would just understand it more today because we've had more time to ingest, to absorb the information, the wisdom, or the intellect, whatever it might have been. That's what I found. And that was a surprising one. And that took a while for me to get comfortable with. Everyone's not going to necessarily have that realization, but you will awaken to so many things that you did not know or that you couldn't believe about yourself, that was always in your purview, that was always within you, but it just took time for your soul, your life, to be able to accept it, or for you to be able to see it. That's how it comes up for me. Anyway, do we have anything else? Any other questions, guys? I'm going to leave a lot of this. I'm going to leave a lot of this information in the video, so you'll have that. But I put the link in the chat. Let me see if I'm going to do that again, so you guys will see it. But it'll be on my website as well. So this is the offer for you guys. Again, you just schedule the session, and then you just do the investment, and then we will I'll get you in the program, and then you get going, and then we'll just go from there. What superpowers will this open up? What superpowers will this open up? Many of them, if you become willing. If you become That's the thing. I kept going through these messages, and as I kept going, I would see all the things I was told before, like, you're not limited. We think we are because we've seen limitation, but then you come say, no, wait a minute, I can do the next thing now. That is what is occurring. And so you will see things open up for you but they're only going to be pertinent to your life. We each have different paths, different timing, all of that. And so when you can accept yours, things open up. Again, I could have never seen this work turning into this. And actually, I attempted to hide it for so many years until it started being exposed. And you might have felt that, things you're doing and you're not sure of, and other people are telling you, go do that. Yes, you're supposed to have it. So it could be that. And the superpower, I'm so glad you used that word. The superpower is you. We all have a superpower, and it's called accepting who we are completely. And that's never done. That's why we have difficulty, because we may settle somewhere, and then we feel uncomfortable because we know it's not what we want. And so then you take the next step, and then you discover something else. And is that my superpower? And the way you know it, because you start to feel good. You start to feel so much better about yourself. That's what comes up. And that's what I found. When I could finally, like I talked about this, this public humiliation was liberating, because I'm no longer hiding it, that I'm hiding that I had this gift. And I was hiding it. But now I'm stepping into it, because it can help so many people, help our world, because I can access information, as you will see with all of this. And anyone who's done any part of this, if you've gone through any of the messages that I've posted over the days, you'll see that it opens you up and you start to understand things in a greater way. And I love it when we are sitting and looking at some of them, and it takes a while for us to figure them out. And that's what we're always doing, is, what does this mean? And then the aha moments come, where you start to get it. And then you're developing this thread within yourself of information and wisdom that it's never going to leave you. You just decide when you're going to use it and when you're going to call on it, but it's always there. And will this work help access and actually use your higher self? Yes. And that's exactly what we're doing. And I'm so glad you said that word too, because those words, because that's what I questioned in 1989. I'm just going to say I said, because I heard things very clearly. I go, who's speaking to me? Because it made me uncomfortable when we stop and listen. And I heard, this is another part of you, your higher self. if you want to think of it that way. But if that makes you uncomfortable, you can call us whatever you like. And I'm having this conversation with and that's what it felt like. That's what we're all doing. And then I said Wilhelm. And I didn't know why at that time. It's been revealed over the years why. The same thing will happen for you. Things will be revealed as to why you had your name, why you were born in a certain place, why you have your parents, all of that. It starts to be revealed because that's part of your life plan. Is part of the work on getting out of, is all of the work. Boy, see, Aaron, I told you, you're going to do some really great stuff because you're so aware and you're so, and all of your questions are just showing what's coming through because you get the game, so to speak. Is part of this working on getting out of your own way, always. That's all that we're doing, and I'm doing. I still do it because I thought, am I going to accept this? Am I going to accept myself? Will anyone else? We all do the same thing until you find, yes, this is who I am. This is where I'm staying. This is what I'm meant to do. This is what gives me joy. Joy is one of the things that gets talked out of us a lot of times, which is why we have difficulty because maybe we shouldn't be doing this thing. Maybe that's not me. And then we come to find out, yeah, it was. The irony of life is that we will go through it thinking that we're trying to always be something and be someone else. And then we come to discover the only thing we're trying to do is become ourselves. That's really the truth. That's what we're doing. And so getting out of the way is a big part of that. Anyway. Okay. Thanks, you guys. Anything else? All right. I've left the links and I'll do more. And so we will have, we're bound to have our good. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to get this out today so people would have the opportunity to see it and take advantage of this offer because it will change your life. All right, I'll see you soon.